All right, I'm here with Michael Lucki and Kerri Wise with AutoFi. Michael, you are a brand new dealer. That wasn't a grand opening, it was a soft opening of your Mazda store in New York. Can you tell us a little bit about the store and how it came about and what you're doing there?
Yeah, sure. So I worked at NADA for the NADA Academy for about 6 years. And the Mazda store was something that in the hometown market that I grew up around was available. It's actually one of my students who was running that store. And I decided to leave NADA in November of last year. Actually, a couple of months after this conference, while I was at this conference last year, I had an important phone call with Mazda, sort of changed the direction of my life. So thank you, Paul, for facilitating that for me. And we've been a Mazda dealer now for 5 months. And every month has been something new. Every month has been something improving, encouraging, and building our team.
Tell me this. I love that story, first of all, because there's ASOTU CON was able to be a little part of it. And that was only 7 months ago. It's not even like it was last year. When you approach your sales process, your technology, you kind of have an advantage of going in and starting from scratch and doing what it is that you want to do. Which direction did you go in, and why did you actually integrate AutoFi with what you were doing?
Yeah, so AutoFi was on my list from the beginning. You know, there are things that you must have as a dealership. There are things that you should have, and there are things that you could have, right? Things that are sort of on the peripheral. AutoFi was on my must-have list. Why is that? Well, I started this journey with AutoFi about 5 years ago when I went to the NADA show and I interviewed every digital retailing company at that time, which was about 4 of them at the time.
Why did you interview them 5 years ago?
Because I was learning about them so I could teach my students at the NADA Academy. So it was a 5-year interview process, and I finally got a chance to implement it at our store. And since we've implemented AutoFi from the beginning, our sales process is extremely convenient. Our sales process is one person can do the entire transaction with the customer. It's so fast that it's unnerving, that people stop and they say, wait, that was it? Or wait, we're done? I mean, the sales process with AutoFi's showroom platform is tremendous. And every single one of our deals since we launched AutoFi has gone through their platform and been financed through their credit system. And our volume has just been soaring since then.
Kerri, I don't know if you want to say anything after that, or if you just want to be like, oh, he's doing a great job. No, but tell us a little bit about what it's been like to work with a new system, a new store, and why you think it's working so well.
You know, I think for us, we were known as digital retailing, but moving into the showroom is just a whole nother thing. And the process has to be aligned. The mindset of the leadership has to be aligned. So when you're working with a new store, when you're working with a former NAD Academy instructor who really gets it, who does a 5-year process and really wants to learn and take on new things, it just makes it easier, because I think we've talked about earlier, it's not just about the technology, it's about the leadership buy-in, it's about the people buying in and implementing it and using it within their process. We love that. We love a store that's going to embed it into their experience. And then for us, it makes it so much easier to see the ROI. The ROI is going to be there. We're going to have alignment, and that's a dream for us from a client standpoint.
So what is there's this side of being an industry partner that when you always have an idea of what the product, like the best use case, and that it always is around the best process, in my opinion, right? Because the technology shouldn't dictate the process, it should serve the process. And when the two are very aligned and you have somebody who's willing to, I'll say enforce the process, but it's like the people who do it well, they inspire the process instead of enforcing the process. What do you see as like the next step? So you've integrated, people are asking, did I just really buy a car? Right? And that's a very rare thing for people to get unnerved. It's going so fast. And you say unnerved, but it's probably pleasantly unnerved. What do you see as the next step of integration, or like how you're going to take it and use the platform to like just dial in that customer experience even a little bit more?
Yeah, so next week, all of our client advisors are going to be trained to be finance managers. That's the next step.
And the industry shuddered.
We have 4 client advisors, all from outside the industry, all who never sold cars before. The hard thing for me to share with them is that they've never seen another way of doing business. So they don't know how much better it is. So they expect it. And that's not a bad thing, but it's also when they go to when they hear about a process, they say, really? That's the way that it worked at another dealership. So the next step, next week, we're having training for all of our client advisors. So instead of having one finance manager, we're going to have 7.
What industry? Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, no, I think touching on that is really important. Our technology enables you to hire a different type of salesperson. They don't have to necessarily be as experienced. And I think that's really important because we're looking for new mindset, new philosophies coming into this business. And the technology has the guardrails, it has the consistency to allow them to talk numbers in a way that aligns with what Michael is looking for. It allows them to present F&I products in a way, and we're finding that some people that are new to this industry are selling 20, 30, 40 cars right off the bat because they have the talent, but then they also have the technology to kind of keep them in line with what the management wants.
Are you seeing this as a common thread across the board that like your tech is empowering dealers to hire outside the industry on a pretty regular basis?
Absolutely. And I think I want to be clear that Michael is looking for his people to take over finance, but we have all kinds of stores. We have one price, one person. We have traditional stores that don't want the F&I process handled by their salesperson, but they want the deal to be penciled faster. They want to remove the friction so that when it gets into F&I, the customer is more open to F&I products. So we are flexible to work with any type of dealer. But yes, to answer your question, we are seeing a different type of profile, and we're seeing dealers bust through the 10 car a month limit that we have seen in our industry. Our average salesperson is selling 10 cars for the last 10 years. That has not changed. And we're seeing dealers kind of break through that and get more productivity.
I love hearing that. Michael, you mentioned you have 4 people that came from outside the industry. Where did they come from?
One was a manager of a restaurant. He was a manager of IHOP, managed about 80 people. One was an owner of a store in New York City, and she closed her store and moved out to where we are, and first time selling cars. One was the owner of a parts store, an automotive parts store. Never sold cars before, but guess what? She knows the cost of replacing things.
Yes.
And she's extremely knowledgeable about the automotive industry, even though she never sold before. And the fourth worked at a bank. He worked for a credit union, and he'd been there for 5 years, and he was looking for another opportunity, and every one of them is bilingual.
There's like a joke in here, right? Like a banker, a general manager of a restaurant, a parts store owner walk into a dealership, you know. Michael and Kerri, it's so exciting to hear the way that you all, through technology and implementation, are expanding the horizons of the industry in a way that we desperately need it. So thanks for actually living it out and providing the way and technology to live it out and being a part of what we're doing here too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.